In a previous video, I showed you how to make your press-ups
more intensive. And by making them more intensive, you will develop your strength, your speed, your power, and your endurance. So therefore you're able to do more press-ups and therefore just engage more muscles and be stronger, fitter, healthier, and all that kind of stuff. However, in this one, I'm going to show you how to make your press-ups more difficult.
Therefore more beneficial with the use of children's books.
So, in the previous video, I showed you that when doing press-ups, you always want to make sure you come right down to the ground, chin, nose, or just general chest touching the ground. Where you get the most amount of benefit is the lowest portion here. However, be wary if you've got any damaged shoulders, you may want to do, you may not want to do this exercise. But this is for people who don't have any damage or injuries or any problems with their shoulders. So generally, the best bit, so the last bit, so from here to there, there's almost no actual movement, no actual benefit going on here. So the main bit is from here to there. Ooh. So you could just do partial reps at the bottom. However, here I'm going to show you how to make it more tough with the books. Okay, I'll get the books.
So, with a selection of ABC Zoo, The Baby Catalogue, My Mummy, and Farm 123,
what we're going to do is what's called depth push-ups. We have these about, okay, we'll put this one on top, hand width apart, and this time our chest is effectively going deeper than where our hands are. So we put our hands on the books here, and we go right down to the chest. So even though this is only like an inch difference, that inch, when you're all the way down here, if you look at the angles of the elbows having to push you up, makes it a good bit more difficult. So from here, so again, that bit does nothing.
But all the way down here, that, definitely feels like it's getting more. If you want to make it a little bit more difficult,
lift up your leg. So you're doing it on one foot. That engages the core even more. So some people say, what do press-ups do? Press-ups do everything because you're having to keep your core solid. Because you have to, if you have a weak core, you end up doing that, which looks rubbish, or you end up kind of going over like that, trying to do it. But to keep your core nice and solid and straight, so as you go down, you're level the whole time. You really need to work your abs, your back, your butt, and your hips as well. And so when you bring one foot up, you're putting more weight on the one leg, which is having to stay on the ground, which means you have to really, you'll feel it. You're really tensing it much more in your leg. Oh, and you'll feel right in here, your hip abductor or adductor area, hip flexor, that's what it is, hip flex, no, that's your butt. Your hip extensor, your hip, the thing that extends your hip.
definitely gets a workout if you do it on one foot as well. So there's two ways of making it more intense, more difficult. Children's boots and lifting up a leg.
And again, if you just want to make it more and more difficult, just add more and more books. There you have a good little mountain on each side. So now, when you're going down, even deeper. Now, the next super advanced level of it is where you do an exercise called power overs. So instead of having two books here, let's just make one really high tower. Again, if you've got something like a chair or a stool or something you can do it on, that's better. But with books, it's quite good because you can layer them up and you can increase the intensity by literally centimeters each time. And this time, what you're doing is you're doing it with one hand on the books. This is going to be quite difficult because if you've got sweaty hands, the book might stick to you. And you're going from here, from the side, up, over, down. You'll definitely want to use larger books so that you have more space for your hands to go down.
Otherwise your hands are going to be squishing over each other. This.
So that is effectively doing a little bit of unilateral exercise. You're using more on one side each time, but also you're having a little bit of a twist movement and just engaging much more than just the static, well, it's not static, but the straight up and down movement to doing all this over like that. Requiring a bit of coordination, a bit of balance, and again, a lot of core strength. So that's depth push-ups and power overs. If you want to be really hardcore, you do it fast. Ugh. So doing it fast, where you're trying to increase your power as you're doing it, you're effectively jumping from side, oh this is going to be dangerous, to side, like that. But you don't do it on your knees. This is going to be, again, do it with a stool or some sort of singular solid thing that's not going to slip around. Feet apart a little bit as well, that helps. Definitely don't do it with slidey books. Don't do it with slidey books. Unless you want an adrenaline rush while you're doing the exercise as well. That could be helpful.